How's it going, guys? My name is Jimmy Champagne, and today I'm going to explain the 5 main endings you can get in Netflix's Black Mirror event, Bandersnatch. I've watched through the movie 2 full times and skipped around in it to see if that alters the outcome, and I've also dug into a bunch of Reddit threads to figure out how much variation there actually is in it. The answer is a lot, but it's also sort of complicated, so let's just start with the general versions of each ending. The first one I was able to get is definitely the most bizarre. Stefan realizes he's being controlled by an outside force called Netflix, and he goes to see his psychiatrist, Dr. Haynes, to talk to her about it. He does his best to explain what Netflix is to her, but obviously it's pretty tough since it hasn't been invented in 1984, and Dr. Haynes questions how this narrative could be true for someone with such a mundane life like Stefan. Next, she whips out 2 batons and you get to play out a fight scene that Stefan's dad eventually joins. It's a pretty goofy ending, but it does let you go back and continue the story after it, so I think it's okay that they put in one joke ending. The second ending I found let me make multiple choices, resulting in Stefan watching a documentary about the Bandersnatch book writer Jerome F. Davis. He's a character who became obsessed with the branching timelines and beheaded his wife. Stefan realizes he's on the same path as Davis and ends up killing his dad. Once you're down this path, it looks like Stefan always seems to end up killing his dad, but he can get there different ways. Like, he can discover that his life is a government test program by putting Pac into the safe that holds the rabbit, for example, but the end result for me had him end up in prison with the game released in an unfinished state. The third ending, which I was not able to get, is the one that people seem to agree is the happiest. After taking drugs with Colin, Stefan is able to travel back in time through a mirror, and he goes and gets his rabbit after it's taken by his dad. It takes less time to find the rabbit the following morning, but Stefan's mom still misses the 8:30 train, and you get to choose whether or not Stefan will go on the 8:45 train with her. If you choose no, nothing really changes because Stefan's mom dies but he lives, but if you choose yes, Stefan dies with his mom on the train. After that, the timeline skips back to 1984, and Stefan closes his eyes and dies peacefully in Dr. Haynes' office because the timeline has been changed. The fourth ending is sort of a continuation of the second one, where Stefan murders his dad. He contemplates calling Dr. Haynes, and you get to punch in the phone numbers yourself, which is pretty cool, but if you put them in wrong, the Tuckersoft boss will call, and eventually both him and Colin will show up at Stefan's house to help him finish the game. You do get to make some choices like whether or not you'll kill Colin, but the end result is the same, with Tuckersoft going out of business and Bandersnatch never being released. The fifth and final main ending you can get is also one that branches out from Stefan killing his dad. You're given the choice to either bury or chop up his body. If you bury the body, the neighbor's dog almost immediately discovers it and Stefan goes to jail. But if you chop it up, the game gets finished, released, and receives a 5-star review. This is the only ending that results in the game getting a 5-star review because Stefan takes out a bunch of the pathways to give the illusion of free will. He still gets caught and sent to prison for murdering his dad 6 months after the game comes out, and then it's pulled from shelves. After that, the plot shifts forward to modern day, and Colin's daughter Pearl is being paid by Netflix to recreate the game. That's the basic gist of the true endings that cause the credits to roll, but there are tons of smaller details that change in each of them based on the choices you make as the plot moves forward. The 5-star ending is definitely the most meta in my opinion, since it stays in line with the theme of the movie, which is illusion of free will. The easiest way to explain how Bandersnatch works is when you make a choice that results in a wrong ending, Netflix tricks you a little bit by making you think you're making the same choice again. But in reality, it's sending you down a different path altogether to funnel you towards one of the endings. It also seems to pay attention to how many times you've watched the movie and whether or not you're skipping around by fast forwarding and rewinding. But the coolest thing I've seen so far is a secret scene that leads you to a website where you can download and play Colin's game Nosedive. You need to download an emulator to play it, but I'll link the Reddit post where I found this down in the description so you can play it yourself. Overall, I think Netflix's gamble on making an interactive episode of Black Mirror instead of a new season definitely paid off. The plot of the episode is fine, but the quality of everyone's performances and the impressive amount of ways you can alter the outcome without any buffering or noticeable cuts between clips is groundbreaking. I don't think every show or movie they put out in the future needs to be interactive, but I'd definitely like to see if they can make a horror movie like Until Dawn with real actors. Anyway guys, let me know what you thought of Bandersnatch and what endings you got down in the comments below, and subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.